up a public hearing on Senate Bill 1525. And while Beth is explaining this, I am going to go down and provide some testimony. Do we have others that were?
One person. Madam Chair and committee members, Senate Bill 1525 establishes the Blue Economy Task Force to study and report on Oregon's blue economy sectors, existing economic development plans and strategies, and opportunities to support the growth of sustainable blue economy businesses while maintaining the health of Oregon's coastal ecosystems. The measure also authorizes the Oregon Ocean Science Trust to create and maintain a nonprofit organization, and the measure has a sub-referral to the Committee on Joint Ways and Means.
Madam Chair, please.
Thank you, Vice Chair Brock Smith and members of the committee. For the record, I am Janine Sollman. I am the state senator for Senate District 15, proudly representing Forest Grove, Cornelius, Hillsborough, and the Rock Creek area of Western Washington County. We are the CHIPS Cultures and Commerce District. Thank you for this opportunity to testify in support of Senate Bill 1525. Our committee bill, which seeks to establish a Blue Economy Task Force to study Oregon's coastal economy. This bill will allow us to better understand the economic opportunities that exist on the Oregon coast and how to expand and support them while moving into the future. To do so, the task force will bring together a diverse array of stakeholders representing environmental organizations, industry groups, and research institutions. We are also bringing a small amendment to the bill to include additional partners that were left off of the original list to specify that one of the legislative members must be from a Coastal Caucus member. So states and local governments around the country have created similar task force to great effect. For example, Maine's Blue Economy Task Force worked to determine what competitive advantages the state's coastal communities offered and created recommendations for future success in order to help the legislature shape strategies for future success. This research helped advise organizations and legislatures on what paths to take to ensure that Maine has a robust and resilient coastal economy, despite the numerous challenges that communities face, such as climate change and predominantly a seasonal economy. The final report they issued has helped shape agendas of coastal stakeholders, such as Bigelow Laboratory for Ocean Sciences, in the most fruitful and productive direction. The task force created by Senate Bill 1525 will help ensure Oregon's coastal communities have a clear roadmap towards economic success and climate resilience moving into the future. For these reasons, I respectfully urge your support of Senate Bill 1555. And I will just tell you this concept. I first learned about it when I was at a NCEL conference and heard from the folks, the advocates working on the Maine ocean economy kind of structured plan. And I was intrigued because I know that many corners, as we face this economic crisis that we currently find ourselves in, that's not just central to just one particular area of Oregon. We see it specifically, hit hard in our rural communities and our coastal communities. So I think that we have really a lot of fabulous stories of amazing programs that are happening along our coastal economy, along our coastal, shorelines. But we need to figure out how do we make sure that we have a real robust plan to kind of bring those silos together that really help our coastal communities in a more effective way. That could mean jobs. That also can mean protections for our environmental areas along the coast. And I think this task force is an interesting start to that, to really help us shape that work. So proud to bring that forward. And I know we have one other person online.
Ooh, I'm going to butcher this last name, Lisa. I'm so sorry. Lisa Depercare?
Actually, you said it correctly. Did a great job. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Lisa. Please.
Chair Sollman, Vice Chair Brocksmith, and members of the committee, for the record, I'm Lisa Debricare, the Director of Strategic Initiatives and Programs for the Oregon Ocean Science Trust. I just have a few brief comments about a piece of Senate Bill 1525 that deals with the Oregon Ocean Science Trust. The trust, which was created by the Oregon legislature, plays a crucial independent role, both in funding and coordinating scientific research that supports Oregon's coastal economy, sustainable fisheries, and resilience to stressors affecting our ocean and coast. We have successfully and accountably dispersed nearly $2 million in competitive grant funding for critical research on ocean acidification as well as nearshore ocean resources. And all of those grants have resulted in completed, high-impact scientific research projects that have benefited the state of Oregon. But we've been limited in maximizing the state's investments in ocean science by leveraging state dollars with federal and private funds because we lack a 501c3 arm of our organization. So this leaves critical research areas like changing impacts to economically important species underfunded. The solution is the technical amendment in Senate Bill 1525 that explicitly grants us the authority to establish a supporting 501c3 foundation. This foundation would serve as a dedicated fundraising arm for the trust, allowing it to competitively pursue large grants and donations. And it's a model that frankly is a standard practice across Oregon's successful public institutions. For example, Oregon Parks Forever and the Oregon Zoo are both 501c3 entities that raise millions of dollars to support the missions of their respective state bodies. By securing non-state funding, the trust will sustainably accelerate critical ocean research that's essential for understanding and mitigating existing and emerging threats to our ocean and coastal resources. This research is paramount to protecting the economic stability and public health of Oregonians and the communities that are dependent upon these resources. To summarize, giving the trust the ability to create a 501c3 is technically clean, fiscally non-controversial, and urgently needed. It is forward-thinking in that it ensures Oregon can both sustain and accelerate essential scientific ocean research that benefits the entire state of Oregon. On behalf of the Oregon Ocean Science Trust, I thank you for considering this bill and for your service to the state of Oregon. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Appreciate you being here today and joining the testimony. Do want to also reflect the fact that Vice Chair Brock-Smith pointed out that we have had some hearings on this topic, and on the 18th of November, there were some documents that were placed in OLIS around this from that presentation. So we are bringing that to today's record as well, so that folks can follow along with that. So is there questions? Yes.
I just really appreciate the opportunity and for my colleagues having this as a committee bill for us here. This, as we learned back in November on the 18th with a number of the presentations that were submitted, Iceland uses 100% of their fish with these opportunities. The coastal communities struggle, and it's a lot of it is a commodity market when it comes to seafood. The legislature has invested resources and time into promoting our Oregon coastal seafood in the past. This task force is another step forward into assisting our coastal communities and fishing communities, because each one of those boats is a private business. And it is critically important infrastructure for our coastal economies, as well as the ports and our local communities. Just in Port Orford, where I live, for example, 35% of our local economy is resources that are coming from those boats and over the dock into our communities. And those are new dollars that are flowing in to our communities that are spent within our communities. And so if we're able to be able to create these public-private partnerships that come with ideas that come out of the task force that make sense for, that private investment, and utilize these materials and not just the fillet, but also the bones and meal and dog or cat treats and so on and so forth. The jewelry, right? I mean,
Who knew?
who knew indeed? But there's opportunities, and so I just appreciate the support of my colleagues here, and hopefully moving the bill out of committee and down to Ways and Means. We'll take another argumentative stab at it. Thank you.
Great. Thank you so much. I do not see any other further questions, so at this time, I'm going to close the public hearing on Senate Bill 15.